Hello and welcome to ATI's webinar, New Ways to Look at Curriculum Using the Galileo Digital Curriculum Platform. I am Heather Mayhew, Field Services Coordinator for Assessment Technologies Galileo K-12 Online. Today we're going to explore the possibilities of ways in which instruction and assessment are integrated through the Galileo Digital Curriculum Platform. The Digital Curriculum Platform provides the ability to use existing and newly adopted curriculum through the creation of units linked to adopted local, state, and Common Core standards. Within the units, you may integrate existing and new instructional materials, as well as district and teacher-created assessments. Units can be scheduled in Galileo for all or specific staff to communicate the goals and direction of learning. Staff can view units on their teaching dashboard and use the information within them to guide the construction of their lesson plans and collaborate with other staff to ensure everyone has the tools and resources to support student learning. So let's dive into the system and look at some of these tools. We're going to start with the Digital Curriculum Builder. The Digital Curriculum Builder is where you build your existing and newly adopted curriculum. Libraries help organize the curriculums and also who has access to view and create your curriculum content. The link to create a digital curriculum provides a blank canvas to customize your units. In this case, I have a list below of units I've already begun. Within each of these, I can choose to edit, copy, or delete any of these curriculums. For now, let's click on the edit to dive into one of these. The Setup tab is where basic information may be entered. In addition, you may communicate what big ideas are worth understanding and implied in the established content standards, and potentially providing conceptual information for content, connections, skills, actions, accommodations, and so on. A formatting toolbar, as I'm showing here, gives you options to embed images, videos, tables, and even colors. As you'll notice here, I have an image attached, which also provides a hyperlink. Next, we're moving on to the Units tab. At the top, we have each of our units, and within each of those units, we have several options provided below. Starting with Unit Info, you have a title field and a duration drop-down menu. Within each of these units, Galileo provides slides as a way to organize the segments of your units. And we're just going to click on a couple of these so you can see what they look like. You'll notice for each of them, there is a formatting toolbar at the top, again, providing options to insert images, embed videos, tables, and colors. And also you can identify the display to make the slide display as a half width or full width of the page. So it gives you a little more organization. Next, we're moving on to the Standards tab. This provides a list of the local, state, and Common Core standards. So I'm just going to choose a grade and subject from our list here. The standards related to that grade and subject will display below. And you'll notice here they're linked for me to move over. These are data objects. And the advantage of that is I do not have to type the standards into a field in Galileo. I can just move those standards over and they become part of my unit as I'm constructing it. Moving on to our instructional materials. This gives you the opportunity to include dialogues and other resources offered through Galileo. Resources you may have as part of your curriculum, or you may choose to search for new materials. We'll start with those offered in Galileo. Instructional materials are associated with the standards you've attached to your unit, so you may search by all standards that are associated with your unit, or you may narrow your search to one particular standard, as I've done here. The results for that particular standard and the instructional materials available will display below. For each of those that display, You will have an option to view the content and also learn more about the individual material. So here we have a view link and, if applicable, a description as well as the author. Just as we saw with the standards, these are data objects that I can then move into my unit materials box. For each of those unit materials, you may click on the material and you have the option to view or edit any of that content. To include resources or supplemental materials that you may have as part of your curriculum, or perhaps you may want to explore a broader search, we're going into the resources link. Again, here you can search with the standards for any of the resources you've already put into Galileo, or you can choose to create a new resource. We're going to jump into create a new resource. So as you're creating your new resource, you may choose to include web links or attach files. You can also perform a search from here. We're going to look at all of these options, but I'm going to start with the left-hand side as we're creating a new web page or attaching a file. So perhaps you have a web link that you and your teachers have used as part of your curriculum. In this particular instance, you're simply identifying the standard, you're titling your website, and you're just linking in the web address. Once you've completed these fields, you can add that web page to your unit materials. For the file attachment, we're going to move over to that option. You may choose to select a file, as you can see here with our button, or in this particular case, I have one saved on my desktop. So I'm just going to open that up, and I'm simply going to drag that file over into the box provided here. In doing so, the system will identify the file information, the attachment that I've made, and populate the fields on the left-hand side for me so that I may then add that file attachment to my unit. Last but not least, you can also search the web. So for example, if I type fractions into my search field and click the search web button, a list of websites will display for me to choose from. And for each of these, I can click on the link to view the website, or I can click the select button to add it as part of my unit. Again, in doing so, it provides the information on the left-hand side, and I can then add it to my instructional materials. The final step is the Assessments tab. Assessments may include pre-post tests, benchmark assessments, end of course assessments, or even common formatives that the teachers may have created. As we saw earlier, the libraries help organize all of the assessments available in Galileo, so I'm simply choosing a library, which provides a list of assessments for me to choose from. In this instance, all we're doing, as we've done before with the data objects, is we're moving that assessment over to the unit assessments box, and that then will attach it as part of my unit. For each of these assessments, I can click on the unit assessment to view or delete. The last and final tab as we scroll up to the top is the status. So status allows us to publish our unit and schedule it for viewing. Scheduling typically occurs by the administrator within the district or the school, and as soon as it's scheduled, it then appears on the teacher's dashboard for those teachers to view. So at this point, we're going to navigate over to the dashboard, and I'm just going to switch my screen if I may, so you can see that. So teachers can see their scheduled units in the teaching dashboard under the Digital Curriculum Explorer. As a teacher, if I'd like to see the sequence of instruction outlined for my grade and subject, I can scroll through all of those scheduled units to view that information. This also allows me to create personalized lesson plans that align and exemplify the instructional goals expressed in the unit. So as I move through the Digital Curriculum Explorer, each of the units display, and I can click on the unit title to view the content available within it. This will open the Curriculum Explorer, and at the very top we have our big ideas that we started with the Setup tab in the Digital Curriculum Builder. So here we can see that basic information. And then I also have access to the unit info, and we'll just scroll through this so you can see that, with all of our slides that we've entered under the Digital Curriculum Builder. And finally, we have our instructional materials and assessments. The nice thing with the instructional materials as well as the assessments from here is I can view each of those recommended resources or supplemental materials by clicking on the icons for each of them. I can also see the assessments within the list that have been attached to this particular unit, and I can see the test blueprint for each of those. The test blueprint opens in a PDF document. This is an example of a test blueprint, and identifies for me the standards that are being assessed as well as how many questions we'll be assessing that particular standard. So we're going to go ahead and close this window, and we're going to close our curriculum viewer. We're going to move on to the lesson plan builder, and you'll notice within our Digital Curriculum Explorer, I have the option to add a plan. So this is starting fresh, a blank canvas, if you will, or I can click on an existing plan that I've already begun. I'm actually going to start from here with a plan that I've already started, mainly because I cannot talk and type at the same time. So we'll click on that link. The Lesson Plan Builder tool will open, and it displays two windows side by side. On the left-hand side, we have information related to the construction of our lesson plan, which we'll get to in just a moment. On the right-hand side, we have a display that provides two tabs. There's the My Plans tab, which will list all lessons that I've either started to construct or I'm in the process of constructing, or maybe completed. So you'll see that list here. And I still have access to the unit information. So let's go ahead and start on the left-hand side and look at the window that we have over here. And we'll move through the lesson plan builder. At the top of the screen, you have your basic information regarding the lesson plan. And this is going to provide information related to the title, the grade, the subject, as well as any standards you want to attach there. As we saw with the Digital Curriculum Builder, when I click to attach standards, I'm just choosing the grade and subject. So again, I do not have to type anything here. And that allows me then to move over any standards I want as part of this lesson plan. We're going to close that. As we move on, there are additional tabs below where I can start to construct my lesson plan with the individual details and then the instructional materials and assessments. Within plan details, again, I'm adding different slides to organize my lesson plan. And as we saw before, we have that formatting toolbar, which gives myself the opportunity as a teacher to construct a lesson plan that includes any of the images and videos as shown before with creating the units. For instruction materials, I can see what has been recommended with the instruction materials from the unit designed by moving back over to the right window under My Units and clicking on Instruction Materials. This provides a list of all the instruction materials added through the Digital Curriculum Builder. And if I would like to include this as part of my lesson plan, I simply click on the plus icon to move it over. So now it displays as part of my instruction materials for my lesson plan. Anything I want to remove, I simply click on it again, and it moves back over for me. Same thing with assessment. So if I go over to the My Unit Assessments, I can add any of the assessments listed here as part of recommendations within the unit. And within my lesson plan, if I click on assessments, I can add any of those to my lesson plan. So it allows the teachers to utilize the information already constructed, and they can make it part of their lesson plan very quickly. As you're designing your lesson plan, everything is saved in real time. So if I would like to navigate back to any of my existing lesson plans, I can make any edits to those if I choose to do so. You'll also notice I have a little trash can icon where I can delete any of the lesson plans I've already constructed. Perhaps I'm no longer using those as part of my instruction. We're going to go ahead and close our lesson plan builder window. And as soon as you design a lesson plan for a unit, it displays right next to the unit so we can see that information side by side. This concludes the tools associated with the digital curriculum platform. What I would like to do at this point is give our audience an opportunity to ask any questions that they may have as we've gone through the tools. Okay, so one question I have is, once I build my curriculum, can it be used as a template for others? Yes, there is a copy feature within the digital curriculum platform where you can copy any of the curriculums that you've designed, and you can even make a template that you can then copy and populate with the unit information. Another question is, what if I find other resources to add to my unit after it has been published? The published status provides the Galileo users the ability to schedule the unit for staff, but you can still make edits after that point. So if you do happen to find additional resources, or perhaps you want to make an edit to that unit, you can make those changes to the existing unit, and that information is then populated throughout Galileo wherever that unit exists. So everyone has access to that new information immediately. So we're at the conclusion of our webinar for today, and I want to express our appreciation for your time. We hope that the information provides a better understanding of Galileo's digital curriculum platform. A recording of the webinar will be sent to you in a follow-up e-blast and will also be posted on the ATI website. And if you're interested in scheduling a personalized demonstration for you and your staff, here's how to contact me or any one of our friendly field services coordinators. We have our toll-free number provided here. You may also email us at galileoinfo@ati-online.com. Or you can send a request directly from our website by clicking on the icon in the top right corner of our homepage. And finally, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. I do hope you'll join us for our next webinar scheduled Thursday, June 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And again, I thank you. We look forward to hearing from you.